This is the first class of Chinese face reading. It's going to be fun and interesting, I hope. So I've already made the class in Mandarin 2 years ago. Now I'm basically watching my Chinese version and translating them into English, which means the two versions are very similar. If there are any differences, I would say in English version there will be no annoying background noise from my air conditioner, and there is the strange accent. All right, so let's get started. So face reading is a very handy and useful technique for you to understand a person to some extent in a short amount of time. So by short amount of time, I actually mean a couple seconds or a couple minutes. So it's very useful comparing to astrology as well. Well, astrology is also very useful, but so basically you don't need to ask for the date of birth or time of birth of a person to evaluate. You know, it seems to be normal to ask a person the date of birth, but it sounds a little strange and creepy to ask a person the time of birth, right? So, but for astrology, you must have to have this time of birth to analyze. So for the first class, I'm going to cover 5 basic rules in face reading. Okay, number 1 rule: when you apply the face reading technique to analyze a person, do the analysis based on multiple features. Do the analysis based on multiple factors. Never ever make a judgment or conclusion based on one single feature. Now, this is a very, very common mistake, which I also made a lot at the very beginning. Let's do this. Let me give you an example on that. So one example is a broad forehead with high hairline usually indicates that the person is intelligent or smart. All right, let's do this. A broad forehead. Broad forehead. Check images. Oh my god, that's hot. I don't expect that. All right, so yeah, this is broad forehead. Broad forehead. This is okay. Well, but I believe she is intelligent and smart, because I like her. And yeah, this is broad forehead. No, this one is broad forehead, and it's high hairline. Sometimes we say a high hairline over here. We sometimes call that high forehead. So basically, a broad and high forehead usually indicates that the person is intelligent and smart. All right. So we'll cover some details about how broad is broad and how high is high in the later class. But now, let's do this. So even that is the case, it doesn't mean that, let's say, when you see a person with a broad and high forehead, that this means this person is intelligent or smart. What does that mean? For example, assuming a person has a broad and high forehead, but he also has a pair of gloomy and dark and weak eyes. Okay, in that case, you cannot make this conclusion. All right, and also, not only the broad and high forehead can indicate a person is intelligent or smart. A high set ears, yeah, this is high set ears. High set ears can also indicate that a person is intelligent and smart. So what does high set ears? Let's do the search. So high set, we have that, ears, intelligence. Yeah, this is high set ears. So which means the tip, the top of the ear, the top. Let's see if there's any real person. Any examples of any real person? No, I think that one is good. I remember that. The Julie's face. Let's go back to this. Broad forehead. Look, So this is actually a high set ears. You see, the top of the ear is higher than the tip of the eyebrow. So that is high set ears, means the position of the ear is high with respect to her eyebrows. All right. So high set ears also indicate the person is intelligent and smart. All right. So you cannot. So whenever you see a person, so that means whenever you see a person with high set ears, you cannot say that the person is intelligent and smart. Maybe he has a low and narrow forehead, right? So whenever you see a person with a high and broad forehead, you cannot say that he is intelligent and smart, because maybe he or she has a pair of gloomy and dark and weak eyes. So that is the meaning of you need to do the full analysis based on multiple features before you make a conclusion. All right, that is the number one rule, and it's very important. Sometimes we call that the full analysis rule. Okay, the second rule is also very important. So all the 5 rules are basic and very important. So the eye expression is the most crucial. Well, most crucial means most important, means crucial. Most important factor in face reading. You will see that in later classes. So that means if the conclusion you made from other features is in contradict with the conclusion you made from the eye expression, then you cannot use the conclusion you make from other features. Okay. The eye expression is the number 1 factor. Okay. That is the most important one. So this rule also indicates that, a good-looking guy or girl doesn't necessarily mean that he or she is good in terms of face reading or physiognomy. All right. Number 3. So the face read, especially the Chinese face, I believe this is also the face reading for Westerners. So the face reading goes beyond the facial factors. The face reading goes beyond facial features. All right. It focuses on the bones, the voice, the bones, the voices. I'm not going to type. I'm very slow in typing. Okay. So the face reading also focuses on the bones, the voice, the temperament, the shape of the body, the physical actions, especially those tiny and unnoticed body movements, and how a person sit, stand, or walk, or even shake hands. So this physical movement is also incorporated in the face reading. So this is why I don't do the face reading on pictures. It's very hard, or sometimes impossible, to get a right conclusion by reading a picture without seeing the real person. The result can be very misleading. So this is also why in China, sometimes we don't call it face reading. We call that the physiognomy, or a person reading. So, well, basically, I need to see the real person moving, speaking, and laughing to analyze, not just a picture. And in some extreme scenarios, we even need to get the person drunk to analyze his or her behavior. Well, I hope this is a her. All right, so that's the third rule. That's the third rule. So the fourth rule is, let's say you make a statement of a person's character based on some outlook features. Assuming the statement is true, the converse and inverse of the statement may not be true. Right. And most of the time they're just not true. So this is easy to understand given the forehead example we had before. So a broad and high forehead usually indicates a person is intelligent or smart. But an intelligent and smart person may not have a broad and high forehead. And also, if a person without a broad and high forehead can still be intelligent and smart, right? So that is the fourth rule, and you need to pay attention of this, because in the following class I may not do the converse and inverse of the statement all the time, because I need to save some time in my teaching. But you need to be aware of that when you learn the rules in face reading. So the last rule is, so when you learn face reading, you need to practice. You need to practice as much as you can. As much as you can. You know, it's not just you learn from some physiognomy books or the face reading books or like the videos I made. So the practice is the most important factor in learning face reading. It's pretty much like learning swimming. You know, you need to dive into the water and get your body wet, and do it yourself. So when I learn face reading, I practiced a lot. I was a very active practitioner. Basically, I practiced a lot on the people walking on the street and making comments on them, and then they thought I was retarded and I was crazy. But don't follow my strategy. Okay? Don't follow my strategy. I will give you a feasible strategy. So basically, you can apply those techniques on your friends first, because you are close to them, and you can talk with them. You can talk with them, and you understand. You already know something about them. So you apply the techniques I teach in the following class, and you try to validate them yourselves, and then you realize, all right, this is right, that is wrong, and by doing this, you can gradually improve the skills of face reading. All right, so that I think that is the all the material I would like to cover in the first class. And for the next class, I don't know what I'm gonna cover yet, but I know it's gonna be interesting and great. We'll see you next class.